Brendan, just first of all, sum up your excitement, your thoughts, your emotions as you head into this huge Champions League match, if you will.
Well, clearly we're very excited. We got off to a really good start in the last round, so we'll come here to a stadium very much like Celtic Park in terms of it breathes football, and we're all excited by the challenge. So yeah, pleased to have just arrived and get ready for the game.
What do you need to see from your side? What has to go right in order to get the result tomorrow night?
Well, I think for us, it's looking to bring our game to the next level. I think how we've been performing over probably the last 6-7 months has just been increasing, and now we come to this level. And what we're under no illusions, but we're playing against a team that are challenging at the very top end of elite football. And but for us, I've always said, whether it's domestically or whether it's away in this competition, it's making us a really difficult team to play against without the ball. So for us, that's what we want to be able to do. And I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for us to be really difficult to play against and give everything we have. And like I say, bring our game, which is to press, to fight, to run. We know at times their quality drives you back, and then it's having that resilience in those moments. But we also know that we have a game that can hurt teams as well with our football and our speed. So I'm really excited about seeing that.
Finally, from me, just what would it mean and how big of a statement do you think it would be if you were to get the result tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, listen, it's the second of 8 games. I think whatever happens after this game, we'll arrive back into the changing room, and I still know that I've got a very good team that's still got a lot of progression to make. But what a great test for us, a great test to come up against a top team with top players, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. And as I said, I'm very relaxed but focused in that we can get a result that, as I said, can build on the first game's result.
Brendan, you say you're looking to bring your game to the next level. Is this almost the perfect place to see if you can do that here? You've scored 16 goals in your last 3 games. Do you feel this is the perfect time for this kind of fixture? Yeah,
I think we arrive in a great place. I track it back to pre-season. The games that we played there, we built our pre-season up, played some big teams, and we were able to look at certain aspects of how we wanted to play at this level, and I was very pleased with what I've seen, and that has just continued right the way through. So to come to here, like I said, it's a great opportunity for us, and I'm excited by that.
Just in terms of team news, is there anything changed from the weekend? How's everyone looking?
No, mostly everyone here. Obviously, Cam not available, so we'll see what he's like going into next weekend. But he's not here for this evening. BBC.
Brendan, just how big a blow is that to not have Cameron? He's been such a stalwart for you at the back.
Yeah, I think clearly he's a top class player for us. He's missed a little bit of Champions League football, I think, in his time. I think 5 of the 12 games that the club has played, that he's unfortunately not been able to play in. But yeah, we've got other players. It's always the opportunity for someone else to come in, and hopefully we can get Cam back sooner rather than later. But like I say, we can't overthink it. We will rely on a collective. There's not one player that brings our results and how we've been this season. Of course, he's a very important player, Cam. But for us to get a result tomorrow evening, it will be about the collective.
Your team is normally week to week on the front foot, dominating the ball. You mentioned how when you come into the Champions League, these big teams can force you onto the back foot, and maybe that transition's been difficult in Europe in years gone past. But do you feel this team now has that balance, that they can have that defensive solidity while retaining the attacking threat?
Yeah, but that's what you're trying to build upon, and like I said, after this campaign, it's continually to build. But I felt very good going into our first game, feeling that we've got certain attributes and facets within the team that maybe we haven't had. Part of that being obviously the preparation going into it. So I feel in a really good place with the squad. Still, just because you bring in one or two players doesn't mean you're going to go and win the thing. But it certainly allows us to be competitive, and that's what we want to see over the course of this campaign, that we can make that step from qualification and participating into competing at this level. And what I've seen from the mindset of our players and how we've produced our performance level, that's what we aim to do tomorrow evening.
And obviously had a great run in the competition last season. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, clearly a very, very tough game. Offensively, a team that's very good. Lost some players in the summer, but I look at the team and they get some fantastic players in that middle to top section, so they're always going to put you on the back foot at times with their quality. Obviously, they've conceded some goals, but that sometimes happens when you're trying to find the balance and the structure within the team. Nuri's obviously taken over, and he'll be fine tuning that whilst he's seeing the team expect it to challenge at the very highest level. So, but no, listen, it's a top side. We top players, and we have to be right on it to look to get a good performance and result.
Tony. Brendan, do you see this as some sort of acid test? It's an iconic venue. It's one of European football's heavyweights. Is this a kind of acid test for your team to see if your brand of football can transition from, you say, pre-season and domestic stuff onto this stage, the biggest stage of all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this level is as much about the head than what it is about skill. I think this is to bringing a mentality to this level, and I think that that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Bringing that quality that we show domestically and being able to take it out into this amazing arena and playing with that confidence. So yeah, I think that the mindset at this level is just as important, and playing with that belief and that courage. But I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that with this team and what I've seen now over a period of time. It's something that we'll know we're going to face stress in the game and face pressure, but that's even the very best teams that happens to. But for us, it's transferring that game model that we see week to week and that we've seen in the first leg of the Champions League or the first game. And look to do that. And if we can do that, we can be a really difficult team to play against tomorrow night.
Robert?
Just more than that, Brendan, you touched on how this stadium kind of breeds football. Can that really bring the best out in players, that environment, when you step out tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think it's something that you have to cherish that and live that. And sometimes that's difficult when you're playing because you're so focused in the game. But for us, tomorrow, we play for the dreams of the supporters. The supporters are travelling out here in their thousands, and we play for ourselves to go and enjoy this experience. It's a wonderful arena. Go and embrace it. Go and cherish these big games, and let's see where it takes us. And like I say, we'll come in after the game. If we've done that and we've given everything and we play with the spirit that we have done, and you don't quite get the result, then as long as you've ran and you've fought and you've played and you've pressed and you've attacked, then you can do no more than that. The game is about layers and about tiers and levels, and for us, I'm just interested to see us competing at this level.
Stephen?
Brendan, you know Nuri obviously from a spell at Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
How do you reflect on that, and how have you assessed his career since then?
Yeah, he was a good guy, Nuri. He probably didn't play for me as much as he would have liked. I think when he came in, he was a young player coming in on loan from Real Madrid. Unfortunately, at that time, I'd moved Steven Gerrard from a sort of number 10 position into a deeper role. And I'd also had Jordan Henderson, who became, so those two guys, some of the greatest captains in the history of Liverpool, and that's who he was competing against. I tried to put him into the team and play in some positions that probably didn't quite suit him. When he plays number 10, when really he was a deeper player, but I had other players in those positions that were doing really well for me. But across his time, he was a good guy. He loved his football. He trained very well. Was super professional, and of course he left Liverpool, went back to Dortmund, and sort of followed his career from there. So it's great to see him. It'll be really good to see him tomorrow evening. He's making his first steps as a manager. He'll now know the challenges of when you do manage and all the various things that come up with being a manager. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to seeing Emre Can. Emre was a player that he was absolutely brilliant for me at Liverpool. I travelled out here to Germany to convince him to come to Liverpool as a young player. He came in and he was absolutely fantastic. Wherever I asked him to play, he played it with a real maturity and quality. So he's the captain here, and he's a very, very good player also.
Michael?
Just following on from that, I think a few comments back in the day from Nuri about not being happy with not playing his own position. It sounds though this morning that maybe management has changed their opinion of that whole spell. Will that do that to a guy when they change that position to dugout?
Yeah, it's only sometimes later in life when you have the information and you have the knowledge that sometimes it can change it. But listen, I never get too emotional with words. I think that players and young players, they all want to play. And I think at that time, when Yuri was at Liverpool, he had other players that were just ahead of him. But he will have enjoyed the experience, even though he didn't maybe play as much. But now, certainly moving into a management perspective, you know the challenges, and he'll start to understand it. You know, you get Sabitzer at the moment who wants to play central, and he's playing wide, and so all these little things come to you as a coach and a manager. But no, he was. I remember Nuri has been a good guy, trained well, beautiful left foot, real technician, and as I said, in the games he played, he contributed. But we had other players ahead of him at that time, and but I really hope he goes on. He'll have a really good career. He's passionate about the game, and he's making these early steps at a big club. So I hope he does exceptionally well, apart from tomorrow.
Michael?
Dortmund have lost 3 or 4 players since the Champions League final, but maybe 7 of the starters then might start again tomorrow. I mean, do you think they're any weaker at all since June, or are they still a formidable side?
Yeah, still a formidable team. I think you only need to look at the goals they've scored. Okay, they've maybe conceded some, and like I said earlier, you're trying to find the balance with those changes. But it's a top team, it's a top club that's set up to challenge at the very elite of modern football, and you see that within the stadium, you see it within the quality of the squad. So yeah, it's still a big challenge, and they'll be looking to go far in this competition.
Ewan, sorry. Brendan, Celtic in general have had some tough nights against these biggest teams in Europe, which Dortmund are over the last decade or more. But what's the key reason you think that this can be different this time?
I think it's mindset, and I think it's belief, and I think it's experience, and I think we've also added some players that give us something in key areas of the pitch that you need. You know, this is a level you see tomorrow night with the physicality at this level, the technique, the speed, all those attributes are needed, and so we've tried to look to build our game on that model. You know, in terms of the physicality, as well as the technique and the intensity. So yeah, listen. I will only know when I see it. You know, I think domestically, of course, we've done very, very well, but we want to see what the transfer looks like to this level.